Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with two men, who put two shovels into a car and drive away. In the car, the men argue because something did not go according to plan. The three thieves, MacDonald, Truby, and Foster have taken refuge in the concrete factory where MacDonald works, to hide the $20 million loot, after successfully robbing the Central City Bank. A little further on, they are stopped by a detective named Franks, and his men. The three men are ordered to distribute the money. Nevertheless, the group tosses the bag, which contains only a quarter of the loot, and the officers' men become angry. The thieves claim to have $5 million each, and this is where things get ugly. A shootout ensues, during which Truby and Foster die. In the process, MacDonald counterattacks and then retreats into the woods. One of the men continues shooting, while the others search the car for money. MacDonald stops to load his gun, after which he continues to run and shoot at the same time. Subsequently, Franks manages to hit MacDonald in the head with his automatic rifle. The thief falls to the ground, and the officer slowly approaches. After not finding a single penny, Frank's men say they must leave immediately. MacDonald stands up in excruciating pain after they leave. He struggles to walk. After a short distance, he loses consciousness and falls. Later, Sykes, one of the police officers, and his team are on the scene to investigate the incident. Inside the thieves' car, they find their documents and discover their identities. They discover that Truby, one of the murdered, was formerly a member of the Central City Bank security team. MacDonald, who was seriously injured, is currently in a coma, is transported by paramedics as they approach in their ambulance. Sykes determines that after MacDonald awakens, he will be the only person to interact with him. The news reporter provides viewers with updates on the bank robbery for the 6 News channel. A video of the press conference by Captain Stover of the Metropolitan Police Department is shown. Captain Glover provides more details about the criminals and the robbery. One of his revelations reveals that Truby was serving the bank as a contract worker. According to Captain Glover, they are still discussing the investigation of the incident with the FBI. He warns the public not to act prematurely until they have complete information about the robbery. 7 years later, MacDonald still suffers from amnesia. He is detained in a judicial psychiatric hospital. He remembers nothing about the robbery, his family, or the past. Dr. Nichols, who is treating him, believes it is best for him not to remember his past. Since he does not remember anything, he cannot be locked up in prison, so the court waits for MacDonald to recapture his memory. Moreover, he is not faking anything. He does not really remember what he did. He wants to know what they want to put him in jail for. Later, he goes to have lunch alone, but an inmate named Lucas approaches and sits down. Lucas acts friendly and knows practically everything about MacDonald's past, which impresses the old man. Lucas reveals that he has been charged with something he did not do, and wants to help him escape. Of course, he is not Superman and cannot do it alone. There is a whole team behind this plan. Lucas secretly gives him a pill to swallow, and urges him to make a decision, because Lucas will be released that day. MacDonald is a little incredulous, but he has no other choice and agrees, taking the pill. A few minutes later, he feels ill and falls unconscious. He wakes up a short time later, next to the nurse. He says he feels as if he is poisoned, and the woman gives him a pill that will make him feel better. Meanwhile, Farron, a fake security guard, tampers with the CCTV cameras, so that he and his team, Lucas and Aaron, can free MacDonald from prison. Aaron smuggles MacDonald out by keeping him in the trunk of her car. As she approaches the exit, she is stopped by a guard who asks her to show her papers and what she has in the car. When the guard asks to open the trunk, Farron is behind them and keeps honking. The man yells that they need to hurry, and this unnerves the guard, who eventually lets Aaron pass without checking the trunk. She then flees the building unnoticed. With their assistance, MacDonald is freed and taken to a house. He is watching a live broadcast when he notices his image on the screen. The news is already talking about his escape. When Lucas approaches MacDonald and asks him if he remembers anything about the robbery, he receives a negative answer. Suddenly they hear a car coming, and Lucas goes to check it out with his gun. Fortunately, it is only Farron who has arrived without attracting any other attention. Then Lucas leads MacDonald into a room filled with photos of him, his friends, and the robbery, in an attempt to trigger memories, but the man is still unable to recall anything. At that point, Lucas reveals the shocking truth to him: the other 2 robbers were killed with a weapon that was not present at the crime scene, meaning that MacDonald did not kill them. Meanwhile, Detective Sykes talks to the doctor and asks if MacDonald's situation is serious. The doctor points out that the man has really lost his memory, and adds that it took MacDonald 6 months to learn to walk again, and a year to learn to talk. At this point, Sykes cannot understand how he was able to escape, realizing immediately that he was helped by someone. Captain Stover Sykes and the rest of their team must cooperate fully with Detective Frank's team. Since Sykes has not been able to solve the case in 7 years, the FBI steps in, and they must join forces. The group that freed MacDonald intends to restore the man's memory. The frontal lobe of the brain, which regulates memory, is stimulated by an LPT enhancer that Lucas, Farron and Aaron intend to inject into MacDonald. Aaron warns MacDonald that the injection could cause dizziness, hallucinations and headaches. MacDonald is incredulous because there is still a risk that things will go wrong. Farron, on the other hand, forces him to take the drug in order to remember where he put the money, so he can go get it. After pondering for a while, MacDonald agrees to take the injection in an attempt to recover memories. When Aaron administers it to him, the latter begins to feel dizzy, loses his balance, and almost collapses. The old man begins to recall small details of where he hid the money, but then stumbles onto the balcony, alerting a passing police officer to their presence. The group immediately returns MacDonald to the house, and devises a strategy to get the cop out of their way. While Farron tries to calm MacDonald down, the other two leave the house, pretending to be interested in purchasing it. However, the policeman stops them and informs them that the house is in foreclosure. The two manage to convince the policeman that they obtained the house through the bank's auction. The officer asks for their ID card, but cannot wait for them to present it, because he receives a call. However, he orders them to obtain their ownership documents if they wish to stay in the foreclosed structure, before making a quick getaway in his car. After some time, MacDonald begins to remember his previous activities, particularly the robbery incident. Also, he realizes that the house he is in now is exactly the same house he used to live in before. That is why he keeps having flashbacks of his family. To find the place where he and his deceased partner had buried the money, the trio follow closely and pay close attention to everything he says. Realizing that the drug works, they all get into their cars and drive to the place where one of the thieves worked, so as to refresh MacDonald's memory. The man begins to remember more and more things, in particular an argument between him, Truby, and another guy who was not part of the group. MacDonald complains about the pain in his head, but Aaron tells him that this is normal and asks him to concentrate. He engages and remembers that the place where they hid the money is near a river that flows by a cement plant. They immediately get into the car and arrive at the cement plant, where he remembers hiding the money. Because of headaches, he cannot stand, and the group takes him inside the cement factory. Once there, he rests and remembers more and more details about the robbery, his family, and Detective Franks. Meanwhile, an agent discovers in the course of his investigation that Farron, the security guard, stole the identity of a person who had already died in a car accident. The agent updates Sykes on the phone, and when Sykes asks him about the cement plant where MacDonald worked, and whether they ever found out anything, he says no. But Sykes thinks they didn't look in the right place. They wander around the building, and MacDonald remembers hiding money in one of the conveyors. Lucas points out that the news announced that they buried the money, but MacDonald says they lied. As they search for the money, the agent who discovered Farron's identity, Carter, decides to visit the cement plant, and discovers that there are individuals inside. Aaron notices the agent's arrival and informs the others, and MacDonald begins panicking. Carter orders everyone inside the building to submit. Along with Sykes' agent, 2 other FBI agents arrive. The 2 agents contact the captain, and inform him of Carter's arrival. As it turns out, the FBI agents are only interested in taking the money and killing the others. The captain deceives the police by saying that someone saw MacDonald in a public place, so as to divert the attention. When Sykes asks to come with them, the captain does not allow him to. Carter calls Sykes and informs him of what he has found. He immediately sets out for the cement plant. Carter carefully enters the building, and Farron and Aaron surrender. Also, Lucas and MacDonald find the bag of money. Frank's men arm themselves and head inside the building. Once they meet, a gunfight breaks out, during which Carter is killed. Aaron and Farron try to escape, but while the girl manages to hide, Farron unfortunately dies. Lucas witnesses this and freaks out. Enraged, he pounces with the pistol and brutally kills Frank's men. Farron's death weighs heavily on MacDonald. As we learn, Farron was actually MacDonald's son. Shortly thereafter, Franks and his men break into the building, and a new gunfight breaks out during which Lucas is shot. Lucas, distraught, directs MacDonald to go and retrieve the money from his hiding place. Sykes can hear everything that goes on inside the building, because he is nearby and has not interrupted his phone call with Carter. He listens to all of Frank's conversations with MacDonald, as Frank tries to shoot him. It turns out that Franks has been behind this robbery from the beginning. He actually planned to kill all the robbers once he got the money, but because MacDonald and his buddies hid the money, things got out of control. Sykes learns this secret. When the agent reaches the building, he easily kills Frank's men and gets closer and closer to him. In the process, MacDonald fills his money bag with pieces of metal to use as a shield. He then pulls out a gun and attempts to shoot Franks, but misses. Fortunately, Sykes arrives just in time and kills Frank, firing numerous gunshots. Finally, Sykes allows MacDonald to escape and hide with the money. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.